bang, 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 bang. You've got perma-crisis, recession, Bank of England, interest rates going up. 91% of them are stressed. David was one of the most joyous people in the world. Doing orienteering competitions with him, climbing mountains with him, 42 years old. He died. None of us know how long we've got. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Money Matters, or specifically, lack of money matters this week. Are you stressed? Because if you are, it's normal. Doesn't mean it's good, but you should be aware that you're normal. How do you fix it? That's the question, isn't it? None of us want to be stressed. What does stress cause? All sorts of medical conditions, all sorts of physical, psychological conditions, and essentially an early death. So let's have a look back over history. My father was a historian, and often I look back at history and I see what lessons that's got for us for the future. When are people specifically most stressed about money? Well, when they've got even less than normal. Economists call it a recession or a depression. So if you go and have a look at Wikipedia and you go all the way back to 1430, which is essentially when written records began in the United Kingdom, you can see that for a period of 440 years, over that time, there was 1.6 major economic downturns, recessions, depressions, whatever, per 100 years. Now, back then, life expectancy was 40 or 50 years old. So if you're getting 1 or 1.5 events per 100 years, you as a normal human being would maybe see one of these once in your lifetime. So what sorts of things am I talking about? The Spanish Armada or the Napoleonic Wars. These are the sorts of major traumatic events that have a huge impact on the UK's economy and cause things to be a lot tighter than normal. Then if you come forward from the 1870s to the 1970s, you've got a major economic depression every 20 years. But you're now living longer. So the average human being has got a life expectancy of, say, 70. So if you're getting a major thing like World War I, World War II, the Great Depression in the 30s, if you're getting a major shock like that every 20 years, you've gone from maybe once in a lifetime to 3 times in a lifetime. And if you now roll forward from the 1970s up to the 2020, you've gone from 1 every 20 years to 1 every 10 years. Is it any amazement that you're getting more stressed than ever because there's more stressful stuff going on than ever? But now look at the last 4 years. Brexit only happened in 2020. COVID and lockdown. You've got the war in the Ukraine. Now that's super stressful, obviously, if you're in the Ukraine on the front line. What did it do to energy prices? The very fact that there was a war in Europe has caused all sorts of economic chaos in the UK. Recession, Bank of England, interest rates going up, bang, 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 bang. You've got perma-crisis. I wanted to find out, if I was part of Gen Z and I was Googling on the internet, what kind of stuff can I do to actually make my household expenses lower, whatever, save some money, whatever. And some of it, I've got to say, was pretty obvious. If you need clothes, you can go to a second-hand clothes shop. Well, thanks, all right. If you want to save money on eating out, don't eat out. So, I wasn't finding it really deep and insightful. But, fair enough. Maybe people have got too used to Uber Eats and getting all their food delivered and stuff. So the idea of cooking your own food in an actual kitchen in your own house might be unusual to some people, not to me. But by the time you get to the bottom of the list, it was stuff like, see if you can save money on your mobile phone contract. You should be able to save £400 or £500 a year. Well, sorry, but if it's just costing me an extra 50 quid to put petrol in my car each week, or my rent has just gone up by 15%, an extra £400 or £500 a year isn't really going to help me very much. This major healthcare provider surveyed 12,000 people between the ages of 18 and 24. 91% of them are stressed. I couldn't believe that. Maybe it's because I'm Generation X, maybe it's because I've had it too easy. But I've lived through that perma-crisis just the same as all the Gen Zs. What I have got, however, in addition to that perma-crisis experience, is I've got 4 decades, 40 years as a property investor. I'm here to tell you it ain't that bad. Many people have said this, and one of them was Winston Churchill. But to fail to plan is to plan to fail. If you want more money, if you want to be wealthy, you have to have a plan. Here at Touchstone Education, we've done all the hard work for you. So what we've done over the last number of years now is we've really worked hard to focus in on giving you a bespoke plan to help you become wealthy. It's called a wealth appraisal. And if you go under this video somewhere, you'll find a link to it and you can fill it in. It'll take you about 5 minutes probably. And what you're then gonna get is a 30-page free report in 6 different areas that will help you become wealthy. So if you want to know more in depth about the wealth appraisal and actually listen to me and Aniko talking about Aniko filling it in, then we've actually made a separate video about that right here on our channel. Maybe after you've watched this one, go and watch Aniko filling in the wealth appraisal and what lessons she learned from it. The wealth appraisal takes 6 areas of your life. Wealth is an acronym. So the W stands for why are you doing this? So if you're very clear, if you've got a specific purpose, it will motivate you to do it on a daily basis. The E stands for education, so that should hopefully be very obvious. A stands for assets. The L stands for leverage. Now leverage is all about tax and mortgages and all of that stuff. T stands for time. And finally, H stands for habits. So if you focus on those 6 areas, now I'm not going to spend any time on this because you just need to fill in your wealth appraisal and you need to read your detailed bespoke 30-page report and it will tell you what to do. You have no excuse for not having a plan. It's free. So having got the wealth appraisal, what do you need next? You need discipline. Discipline in its simplest, purest form is the bridge between your current situation and where you want to get to. If you are disciplined about anything, about learning French, about losing weight, about getting fit, it will happen. Look at this gorgeous, handsome film star character here. This is me. I'm the ginger-haired, long-haired one in this picture at the age of 17. And at the age of 17, I left home and I had the princely sum of 170 pounds. I now live here in Monaco. Everything that's happened to me economically, between the age of 17 and now, I'm 58 years old now, is on me. And you can see, looking at this picture, that I wasn't exactly being brought up in an ultra wealthy family, was I? I was actually on a 50-mile walk, discipline. I did that 50-mile walk, I did it in 8.5 hours. I did it with this guy. This guy's called David Curley. David was one of the most joyous people in the world. Always up to something, the life and soul of the party, the village idiot. And I spent years doing orienteering competitions with him, climbing mountains with him, laughing with him, crying with him. 42 years old. He died. None of us know how long we've got. You have to take advantage of every minute, of every hour, of every day. And the less wealth you've got, the less difference you can make to the world, the less life that you are going to live. He was far healthier than me. He got taken away by a lung cancer. He never smoked. There's only 6 people in the world die of that lung cancer every year, and he was one of them. Don't you sit there on that couch thinking I'll do it next year. You might not have a next year. You might not have a next week. You need to get on with this now. And if not for you, then for your loved ones, for your children, for your mum, for your dad. That's all part of the W, the why of your wealth plan. But I can promise you this. If you follow the simple plan that I'm giving you, you can escape whatever stress you're in and you can live wherever you want. Do whatever you want, with whoever you want, wherever in the world you want. And it's all on you. So my question for you is, are you going to fill in that wealth appraisal? And are you going to live the life that you were born to live? Will your life be a legacy? Will you be proud to look back on all your achievements and say that was a life well lived? Or will you be on your deathbed saying, if only, or I wish? You've been wonderful. I've been Paul. See you next time.